Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today we're going to be talking about an AI tool that I've actually never tried. I've seen their name before on Twitter. I've heard some people in my community talk about it. I've tried out Lovable, I've tried out Bolt, but this tool I've never really gone, so deep into. But that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at this tool called Replit. I'm sure that most of you have heard about it. But yeah, it's basically an AI app developer, right? Similar to Lovable, but from what I see in the UI, it's a little bit more developer friendly, meaning that you can interact directly with the code. You can add certain dependencies. It has a very flexible connection with GitHub. And yeah, in terms of pricing, there is a free plan. It says Replit agent trial included and 3 development apps. I think we're just going to be making 1 or 2 today. But yeah, the whole challenge of today's video is using the free version of Replit and seeing kind of what you can build with the free version. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on sign up, and we get this nice sign up page. I'm going to go ahead and sign up with my Google account. And once you sign up, you can basically, edit your username. So I'm just going to put something like Lucas YouTube, click on save, and then put my name. Then we're just going to choose on for personal use, continue. We want to start with this starter plan. So let's click on this. And so it says, welcome to Replit. Replit, here's how your starter plan works. Today, start creating apps for free. We've given you some starter credits so you can try Replit right away. Awesome. Continue creating until your credits run out. Upgrade your plan for more usage. Okay, so it's a very, generous starter plan. So let's go ahead and click on start creating. And once we finish with that, we have this interface, which basically we can see up here. We have this create an app. We have the home, we have our different apps, which is empty right now. We have our different deployments, usage teams. And here, this is something more for exploring the product. So we have bounties, templates, learn, and documentation. I would like to click on bounties just to see how that looks like. So find a service, hire a preferred partner. Okay, so this is kind of like a job board. Pretty interesting. So complete work to get parity between React and web app. So these are like different job posts that people are posting on this tool, which is pretty cool. I guess you can just click on one of these and apply. Very interesting, tab that Replit offers. Then we have different templates, which is also very nice. We have what do you want to build? Something with AI, some website. You can do something like games, bots. I would like to click on games, for example. Then we have all of these different starter kind of boilerplates to start off with. And again, these are like more, developer friendly types of boilerplates, right? If you're coming from a design background and you see something like this, you wouldn't really know how to start. But this tool has an AI integrated into it. So, if I were you, I'd just start off with one of them and just go, build off of that just to test out the waters, right? Then we have this learn over here, this learn tab, get started with a course. So we can look at all of these different types of courses. There's Python courses, there's these YouTube tutorials that they've made, deployments, bounty hunter bootcamp. So it's a very, like creator friendly app as well. And then we have documentation, which was that final tab. And we can already start seeing different things, Replit apps, overview, collaboration. But let's just go back to where we started, which is over here, and go back home and see what we have here. This is like the most important thing that we're trying to see. Again, we're using the free version of this app. So let's see how far that gets us. And we can see that we have like this drop down over here, modern web app, interactive data app, 3D game, web app with Python. And they also have kind of these examples that you can build, like an AI chat or like a stock analysis app. And if you click up here to create app, for example, there's 3 different tabs. You can create with a Replit agent. You can choose a template, or you can import from GitHub from an existing project of yours, or maybe something open source out there in the wild. We can, for example, choose HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and choose this random title that it generated for us. And if we click on create app, when we click on create app, we get this interface where we basically have the code popping up on the right side. We have this assistant on the left. I guess you can even drag it around. You can, put this as a full page, put this also as a full page. So it's very like flexible. And you can also go here on the left and choose on open files. So we have, for example, this index, which is giving us this hello world text. And we can preview down here where it says preview your app. And we get this nice hello world, basic boilerplate for an HTML, CSS type of project. We can close this preview and we can, for example, write something down here in the chat. We can write something. We can maybe even choose one of these, like add dark mode toggle, and click on enter. And we can see that it's using Claude 3.5 Sonnet v2. We can also add some different files like images or so. And once we are done with this, we can just click on submit. So before it applies the changes, it asks you if this is correct. So I'll help you add a dark mode toggle to your website. We'll update these files to implement this feature. And basically you can click on these and kind of see the 4 lines of code that it's adding. Also in these different files. And then if you are satisfied, just click on apply all, click on OK. And then we can head to this preview mode and click on this toggle dark mode and we get it, right? So this is kind of, starting off with a type of, simple boilerplate using some type of coding language, right? In this case, it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We can also click on the shell over here, which is basically like a directory. It's like a command interface for your app. So here we can add things like Python, and you can install it. And then basically, for example, we have Python 3.11 installed inside of this project. And an easier way to do this, instead of just writing code like this, like Python, or more advanced things like npm install, you can just go here to dependencies, click on that, and basically, add different types of imports like Node.js or React or all of that stuff, right? So this is kind of like the more developer oriented way of building something. But if you are, you don't want to go so deep into code, what we can do is we can go back home and we can see that we've created 1 free app. We have 2 left. So let's just use this AI agent to create something, right? So it says describe an app or site you want to create. We can create something like a book scanner. We can create a waitlist website. We can create an AI chat. If you refresh the page, you get some more options like a local landmarks app, statistical significance calculator, stock analysis. So this one is more of like a website. As you can see, this one is more of a, maybe data visualization type of app. We can start off with this one. Make an app that displays a map of local landmarks based on the current viewable area of the map. Use Wikipedia to get landmarks. Okay, we can do that. And we can also improve the prompt by clicking on this pen tool. And it basically provides us with core features, visual references. So inspired by Google Maps and Atlas Obscura. Don't know what that is, but I trust it. Known for their clean map interfaces and informative point of interest displays. And then we have a style guide. So here we can basically, this is the map blue. We have a green for marker. We have light gray. So we can basically take this theoretically and bring it to ChatGPT and ask it to fit it to our own brand colors and then paste it back in here. But in this case, let's just use this. And here we can choose whether this can be a modern web app, an interactive data app, a 3D game, or a web app with Python. In this case, let's just let AI choose it for us. So let's just click on start building. And as it starts building, it gives us this new chat interface. It says, I'll help you plan an interactive map application that displays these landmarks. And then it gives us this logo, landmark lens. And then it gives us the app type, which is a modern web app, which is kind of what I wanted to build in the beginning. And yeah, basically this entire thing is just like a type of plan for approval, right? They build up this plan and they need our approval, right? So it basically needs our approval to continue. But before we approve, we can go read here. Would you like any of these additional features? We can also make these changes later and we can read through them. And for example, this one, I would really like some type of near me feature. And let's just choose this one. I want to just go step by step. So let's go ahead and click on approve, plan, and start. And once I click that, we can see that it says that the plan has been approved. Now there's a visual preview that is cooking up. So it's being built in real time, as you can see. And then eventually there will be some type of interactive prototype. And then it says later add user location tracking with near me feature. So I really like the way that it portrays what it's doing. And I really liked how it's kind of like splitting everything up into little pieces. And also it knows that we want to build this feature, but it knows that it's going to have to come a little bit later. A little bit later, meaning, after it builds this, I guess. So let's see how that goes. And obviously, you can read your changes here. And then eventually it starts creating all of these files, right? We have this node modules, right? Tailwind, CSS, different packages that's being installed. And slowly but surely, we're getting some type of interface. We have some nice hamburger menu over here. It's not really clickable yet. I just have to wait until it's all basically being built. But we have Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, and the Notre Dame Cathedral. So it's looking interesting. And it's obviously using the colors that we told it to use. I remember it being something like blue, right? So that's going well. Another thing that I like about Replit is that we have these little banners that are basically little tips and tricks of how to improve our communication with this AI. So we have this attach images or screenshots to your chat, start new chat when your conversation has many messages. There was something that was telling us what these icons mean. So basically, as the app is being produced, we can learn a little bit more about this tool, right? So we can view your app in various sizes using the screen size button in the preview pan top bar. So over here, we can view it in full screen, for example, or in different screen sizes. So I really like that little touch from Replit, right? And you guys didn't see it, but I just got this notification from Chrome allowing me or asking me to allow this specific app to track my location, and I accept it, and we get basically my location. You can see that this is, I live here in this area, and it says it's done. I built an interactive map application that displays Wikipedia landmarks based on your current map view. This app should show a map with markers for nearby landmarks, a sidebar with a list of these landmarks, and the ability to click on landmarks to see details. Right, so it created these different features. It basically has a Wikipedia API integration, which is interesting. And then it asks, okay, how does this application work for you? Can you see the map and landmarks loading? Is there anything that doesn't work as expected? So I do not see any landmarks loading, and I don't know if it's because, there's not a lot of landmarks nearby, I think. But and it's kind of glitching. It's giving me some type of error, and I believe it's because it's giving me some invalid coordinates. So I'm going to say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of that. So I'm going to take a screenshot, boom, and I'm just going to place this in the message. So I'm basically going to write something like this, click on send. And what's cool about Replit is that you can also kind of learn about how these things are being fixed, right? So I see the issue. There's a problem with how the coordinates are being sent to the API. Let's fix this by examining and updating the use landmarks hook that makes the API request. And then you can basically just open this and see where that is being basically manipulated, or where that's going to be uploaded. And you can see these updates with all of these different features. So let's look at how the coordinates are being used in the map component. And it's basically trying to fix things step by step. And I can basically see that this little banner is being updated. It was 2 lines, now it's just 1 line. So you can kind of see the AI basically update this in real time. And let's see how this works again. And so now it doesn't crash, or it doesn't give me that error code. I guess it's because, let's see if we don't have any landmarks here. And basically I'm not seeing any landmarks. I'm not getting any error codes now, but I'm not getting any landmarks. And even if I, for example, put something like, no, we don't get anything at all. So I'm just going to try to correct this again. So I'm going to say, I do not see any landmarks. Can you please add a list of 20 default landmarks in the United States? What we can also do is eventually have some type of database, and we can ask it. So it's using post GRE SQL with 10 gigabytes of storage, and we can eventually let the user save some landmarks into a database, and once they're logged in again, they can basically see their saved landmarks. So now we're seeing something interesting, right? So it's still, creating something. Okay, now it's done. So I've added 20 default landmark points in the United States to make sure the map always shows interesting locations, even if Wikipedia's data isn't loading. So it's probably something with Wikipedia. Now you should see the landmarks on the map when you first load the application. So create an interactive map with Leaflet, added 20 default landmarks, implemented landmark details model, fixed coordinates handling issues, made map center on the US by default, which is not working because I, added my location already. So it should look like this. As you can see, if I zoom in, you can see that it's like right in the middle, but we're gonna make it over here where I'm from. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click on this. We can click on this and we can read about the specific place, and we can get directions or read on Wikipedia. So I get directions, it takes me to Google Maps, right? And it gives me the directions for my house, which is a 4-hour drive. And I can read more about this on Wikipedia. And it's basically working pretty well. So let me zoom out, and if I want to see if I can actually see it here on this map. And yeah, basically it's right here. So you can just move around to North Florida and you get this. And, it's probably centered somewhere over here. So it says 14 kilometers away, but it's right here. And you can just click on this and it takes you there, right? These would be like the nearest ones. So these are all in Washington, D.C., which is a little bit up north. Then we have New York. Then we have these that are a little bit more north, right? This is Chicago, and this is more, North New York. So we could add some type of database so that we can create new landmarks and save them inside of this database, right? So before in the chat, there was this add a database button. I just clicked it and it basically created this message. And guys, basically we're at 4 out of 10 checkpoints used, and we're, almost at the finish line, which is pretty amazing, right? Considering we haven't paid for anything, this is all for free. All right, so now we have specific we have a database storage for our landmark application. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask the agent to make it possible for us to add our own custom landmarks and save that in the database. So I'm gonna say, make it possible for the user to add their own custom landmark, which is then saved in the database. So let's click on submit. All right, so now we have the ability to add our own custom landmark, and it added a database to store landmarks, created a post API endpoint for custom landmarks, added a form dialog for entering the details, implemented a right-click feature for the map on the map. So basically, if I were to add a landmark over here, being this university, I can call it, FIU. So just adding some specific information like this. Let's click on add landmark. And we have this add landmark, and I don't know if we can read on Wikipedia because it shouldn't work. Okay, we actually do get it. That's pretty crazy. And we can also get the directions over there. So I don't want to show you exactly where I live, but you can get the directions. It works automatically like a charm. So it says that the landmark has been successfully added to the map, but if I click out, I don't see the icon. Oh, I see it. Okay, I created 2. So there it is. It's basically there. It's just not showing if I zoom out. Oh, it does. Okay, great. So we get that. And we get them saved here. So I created them twice because I thought that, the first one that I created wasn't there, but it is there. And if I click on refresh on this page, just like zoom out, we can see it, right? Because it's been stored in the database, right? And this is again using 7 checkpoints out of the 10, meaning that we're still, we have 3 prompts left, I guess. I don't really understand this checkpoints thing, but you know, this is all with the free version again. Amazing. Now what we can do is we can try to add some user authentication, right? So let's add user authentication, sign up and sign in for users to access the map. Let's click on submit. And while this is running, we have a temporary database for you. I just clicked on this icon, by the way. Manage it here. So in 6 days, it's going to be paused. In 36 days, it's going to be deleted unless we, upgrade. So that's, it's good to have for just, having some type of free project to test on, right? We have this overview where we have 2 different tables. You can see your data over here. So we have the landmarks, and then it's basically creating these new spaces for users and user favorites. I guess people can favorite different landmarks. As you can see, so this is like the history of the landmarks, I guess. And here you can see all of the different landmarks and the ones that I've added, right? So these are the same ones that I've added. And these are like the different descriptions, right? Thumbnails, they don't have any thumbnails, but we could eventually add thumbnails if we wanted to. I guess we could type it here. Yeah, we can even type it here, which is crazy, right? So we have this very close connection to our code and to our databases inside of Replit, which I love because it's all in one tool. All right, and we've just hit our limit. So it went up to 10, unfortunately, so we can't really, build off of this, but we have our 10 checkpoints that have been used. Let's just go ahead and see if we can test this out. So we have our login and we have our register page. Welcome to Landmarks Explorer. We can also go over here to the left to publish a live version of it, but we need some type of plan in order to do that, so we can just stay here. So let's just check this out. Let me just register. So I'm just going to create a username. I'm going to add my email and add a password. Let's click on create account. And it basically created the account. So the registration has been successful. And it created this little icon for me to log out. So let me just try to do that. Let me log out. And let me just put in some random username and password. So I put some random username and password. Let's click on sign in. It's invalid. And if I put in mine, click on sign in, it works, you see? And it says welcome back. Awesome. So that, works pretty well as well. And we can add our different places. So these have already been added. Let me just click on, for example, here, let's call this Everglades, a large swamp, let's say. Add landmark. Read on Wikipedia, so we get Everglades, amazing. We get the directions here, which we don't want them. And it should be saved. So it is saved. Let's go ahead here, click on log out and log in again. It saved my password, so I don't have to, type in everything. And I'm logged in. And you can see that it's been saved over here. So we have it over here, and we can go to our database, check out our data, look at our landmarks, and we can see that Everglades has been the last one. And we can also see users. We have our user over here. We have our email created at this time, not an admin. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We basically built out an interactive map app where you can add different locations. You can save them into a database. We have user authentication working. Basically, the next steps here would be to add some type of payment gateway like with Stripe. Obviously, we can't do that because we hit our limit with the free version, but you already saw what we can already do with the free version. We can already build some type of little MVP to share with different friends and colleagues just with this free version. Very powerful tool. Definitely recommend you try this out. You have the flexibility to go into your different code files. You have the ability to see your database inside of Replit. And I really like this AI agent because it kind of builds everything real time. It sees what it's doing. It sees that there's an error, and then it basically corrects that error like that. So it's not, it doesn't build something and then shows you an error and then asks you to fix it. No, it does that automatically. So every time it generates something, there's something that works, which is amazing. I definitely recommend you guys try this out. It's a great tool. It's called Replit. You can find it in the you can find the link in the description below. And yeah, if you have any other types of ideas of tools that I should be checking out, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to to read your ideas. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And if you haven't already joined my community, which is also in the description below, we're a bunch of different designers, builders, business owners, and we get together every Tuesday and Thursday to talk about different tools. And every Friday we either have like build challenges with prizes, or we have like these webinars with invited entrepreneurs that basically show their different AI tools that they've made. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.